Okay, good morning, everybody. In yesterday's class, we looked into the HDFS user commands, and today just we will briefly go through those commands. First, the usage of the HDFS command is like HDFS, and then optional configuration and information you can give, and then you can issue the command. And command can be one of these DFS, distributed file system. And suppose if you want to start the name node, so name node, journal node. So these are the different commands that can be used along with the HDFS. If you want to see the version, we will say HDFS space version. If you issue the HDFS space DFS, what are the different commands available that can be issued is listed here. For example, yesterday we looked into the listing of the file, that is ls. One of the command we have is the ls, right? You can say hdfs space dfs space ls. What the ls will do, hyphen ls, it should be hyphen ls. What it will do, it will list, it will do the listing of the present directory. And if you want to do the listing of the any other directory, you can give the path of that directory after hyphen ls space. You can give the path. If you don't give any kind of a path, it will list the current directory. And there are other important commands that we will see. So for this example, you wanted to list the root directory. So it will list the, just you will say forward slash will take you to the root directory. Then if you want to create a new directory, you will say hdfs space dfs space hyphen make directory, mkdir space and name of the folder. So it will create the new folder in the hdfs file system. If you want to put any file into the HDFS from the local file system, you will use the put command, HDFS DFS hyphen put. Then test1.txt is from the local file system, and it will be copied into the stuff folder which is present in the HDFS file system. Similarly, another command, get command. If you want to get any file from the HDFS and you want to bring it to the local file system, you can use the get command. So the command is hdfs dfs hyphen get. This is the test underscore hadoop.txt. This is the file which is present on the hdfs file system, and this is the name you want to give for the this file on the local file system. And if you want to what this will do is, it will get from the current directory of the hdfs file system, and it will put into the current directory of the local file system. If you want to specify any different folder, you can specify the folder here. So if you don't want to put it in the present directory, you want to put it in some other directory, you can give the either a relative path or the absolute path. This command will make a copy of a file within HDFS. So you want to make a copy of one file into another file inside the HDFS file system, you can use copy command cp. HDFS space dfs hyphen cp. You will give the source file, and this is the destination file. Name of the source file, name of the destination file. Again, if the files are not in the present directory, you can specify the directory, which directory the source is, and which directory you want to copy the source file. Put will put the local file system file into the HDFS. HDFS DFS hyphen put. This file will be copied onto, local file is copied onto HDFS file system under stuff folder. Remove, we can use this command to delete any kind of a files we don't want. For that, you will use SDFS hyphen DFS hyphen RM dash RM, that stands for the remove space. You will specify the name of the file to be deleted. If at this present command, it will take this file from the, it will look for the file from the present directory, whatever the current directory, it will look out this particular file. If you have the file in some other folder, you can specify the path for that particular file. Similarly, if you want to delete the complete directory, you will say -rm and -r. R is a recursive. And in case of a HDFS file system, whenever you are removing the file, it will not delete the file completely. What it will do is it will put this file uh, into the trash bin. It is very similar to the Windows operating system. When we delete certain file, it will go to the recycle bin. Similar to that, it will go to a trash bin, a separate folder. If you don't want to keep a copy in the trash, you can use hyphen skip trash, and this is the name of the folder. So this is how you can delete the folder. And this will give the if you want the HDFS status report, for that the command is HDFS space DFS admin space dash hyphen report. So this will generate the report about the status of the HDFS file system. And we saw about the HDFS web GUI. Yesterday I show you the Ambari, from where we can see the complete ecosystem uh, of your HDFS, and also you can do some of the action. You can manage some of the things from that particular GUI, provided if you have logged in with the user ID. And for the user ID, I told you, you have to have a admin privilege. If that particular user ID has an admin privilege, then you will be able to carry out the actions like starting the node, stopping the node, restarting, let us say data node, journal node. So that kind of operations can be performed using the HDFS web GUI. And I told for the Ambari, what user we used is a Maria dev, Maria underscore dev. If you want the admin for that, yesterday I told you the instruction how you can reset the admin password on the SSH session. So you have to open the SSH session, that is localhost colon 4200, where you have you can make a SSH connection. Once you make a SSH connection, then you will log in with the root credentials, root user ID and its password. And after that, what you will do is you will issue this command, Ambari hyphen admin hyphen password hyphen reset. So this will reset the admin user ID, and then it will prompt you for the resetting the password. You give the new password. If you want to keep it as admin, you can keep it admin. So using this credential, you can log in into the Ambari. Once you log in with this credential, this particular user has an administrative privilege. So you will be able to do some kind of a actions like restarting, stopping, okay, of different nodes, generating reports. Such things can be done using that web portal. Okay, this is what I showed you yesterday. This is on localhost colon 8080. That is the port. It will be available. So once you open that, it will prompt you for the user ID and password. Then you can see the complete ecosystem of the HDFS. You can see HDFS, YAR, MapReduce. So all the services will be listed here. And once you click on the HDFS, it will give a button here, more actions. In more actions, what all the things you can do will be listed. Like I told you the example of starting the name node, stopping the name node, putting it into the safe mode. All those things can be done using HDFS in programs. There are two methods for writing the applications in HDFS within the programs. There are two examples given in the textbook which we are referring, that is Hadoop 2 Quick Start Guideline by Douglas Edline. So the two examples is, one is using the Java programming and another one is the C programming. So we will look into the Java programming and how the implementation has been done. when using a Java, reading for from writing to and writing to Hadoop DFS is no different from corresponding operation with other file system. So when we are using the Java programming to either write and read from the Hadoop file system, it is very similar to other file system. The code in the example of reading, writing, and deleting files from HDFS, as well as making directories. So the particular example code that has been given, in that particular example, we can read the file, we can write the file, we can delete the file, we can also create the directories in the HDFS. And if you want the code, this is the link. That this link is available in the textbook also. From there you can directly download the source code. To able to read from write to HDFS, you need to create a configuration object and pass configuration parameters to it using Hadoop configuration files. So we have to create a configuration object. Inside the code, we will see how the configuration object is created, how the configuration parameters are passed to that particular object. We will see that. The example assumes the Hadoop configuration files are in this particular folder, that is /etc Hadoop /conf. Okay. uh, this particular explanation is for the Hadoop 2.6 version. So this folder may not be the actual folder. If your installation is different from what the book specifies, then you may not find the configuration files in this particular folder. For that, what you can do, you can search the HDFS file system. How to search the HDFS file system? We can use the find command. For example, this is the command, find command. And how to use the find command? Find will search for whatever the search key you are looking for. Let us say you are looking for the configuration files. You can say conf. So find /. What is the meaning of the /? This will tell where to find. So this says we have to search the from the starting from the root directory. So from root directory, it will search the complete file system and hyphen name. So what search key you want to provide, you will give it here. So this is the search key. Maybe you will say conf *conf*. So it will get all the files and folders where there is a name called as conf. Okay, there could be some character after conf or before or on the both side. It will search all those things, and then you will say hyphen print. So on the shell itself where you are made the connection, it will display. For example, this command is issued here. This command is issued here on the command prompt, and you can see it has listed all the information that is available in the file system, which has a name Hadoop MapReduce example. So you can see we found out one file here, jar file, and another one is here. So this is how you can use the find command if your installation is different. So you may not always find the actual directories because it depends on what version of the installation you have. So for that, you have to do the search of the file system. If you do not assign the configuration objects to the local Hadoop XML files, your HDFS operation will be performed on the local file system, not on the HDFS. So if you don't assign the configuration objects, what will happen? Instead of doing this operations, whatever the operations it is designed for, reading, writing, deleting the file, making directories, all those operations will happen on the local file system and not on the HDFS file system. So I will show you the code. This is the example, HDFS Java application example. Here we will just walk through the code. You can attempt, there are steps given how to compile this particular code. how to create the jar file, and how to run each of these operations, like creating a file, deleting a file, making a directory, etc. Those operations you can run using that particular jar file. All the instructions are given. And as I told you, some of the things is dependent on the what version you have, what version of SDFS you have. According to that, you have to make certain code changes. So this is the Java file. We are creating a package org.myorg, and we are importing all this. Okay, java.io dot buffered input stream, buffered output stream, file, file input stream, file output stream, IO exception, then input stream and output stream. So this will be required for reading and writing the files and for the streaming purpose. Then we are importing from org.apache.hadoop.conf. So this is the configuration class we are importing the configuration. Then other things that are imported are from org.apache.hadoop.fs dot fs data input stream, fs data output stream, file system, and path. So once you have these things, that those things will be used inside your Java class. So you can see this is the public class we have. The name of the public class is SDFS client, and inside this will start, the class will start from here, and inside we will have constructors, other functionalities, everything will go through. So this is the beginning of the class. First is the, we have a constructor which is empty, public HDFS client. HDFS client empty brackets. So we have a empty constructor. After that we have a method called add file. Add file, it is a public method, and it void, it do not return anything, and it takes two parameters of type string. One is the called as a source and the destination. So when we are adding the file, and it throws IO exception. So if there are any exception inside, then it will not handle inside the function. It will throw the exception. So whoever is calling the add file should make sure that these are the general Java concepts you already know. Whoever is calling whichever function or whichever class is calling add file should take care of handling the IO exception, or it should say that it throws IO exception. Either in a Java you handle the exception. Okay, if you are not handling the exception, then you tell that you are going to throw that exception. So here throws exception means whichever function is calling this one, it will know that this particular function will throw the IO exception. It should either handle it, or it should throw it, it should declare that it is throwing that particular IO exception. Then this is the configuration object. Conf new configuration, new configuration object has been created, and after that adding the resources. Once you the object conf dot add resource, and you are giving the configuration object here new path. Inside you can see this is the path, this is the absolute path that is given for the core site .xml. You have to search for the core site.xml inside your installation and provide that path. Okay, provide the absolute path, that is starting from the root. And similarly add another resource new path, and new file is given, etc hadoop conference sdfs hyphen site.xml. So you have to make sure that you search in your Hadoop file system where these two files are located using the find command, and that particular path should be given here. Then we are creating the file system object and by passing the configuration object. So we have a file system object. Then we have a string file name is equal to source dot substring source dot last index forward slash plus one. So basically what we are getting is from the last index of the forward slash. Let us say if you get the source as a a complete path, for example like this, right? What you are doing is you are finding the index of this, and from +1, that is from here until the source dot length, until the length. So you are basically you are getting the name of the source file name you are getting. Then you have dest dot char at dest dot length -1 not equal to forward slash. If it is not equal to forward slash, and that means what, the file name is given, then you will add destination. So this is the destination path that is given to the function. You will add the destination because there is no forward slash. If this condition is true, means at the end of the file there is no forward slash, you will just add the forward slash and append the file name. So you have the complete path for the destination. Okay. Suppose if the forward slash is already there, then just you will add it, because dest has the, at the end there is a forward slash, you will add the file name. Then system dot out dot print, this is just they are commented. Maybe when you are working on this for the information check, some of the lines you will be printing, so that you will know how the flow is, or for the debugging purpose also you can use the in between print ln command, which will print it onto the your console. Then path is equal to path object is equal to new path destination. So we already formed the dest. Okay, dest is having the complete directory as well as the name of the file. So complete path of the file name is there, including the file name. You are creating the path object. And if file system dot exists, it will check whether this particular file is available or not. If this particular file is available in the destination, means already this particular file is available in the destination, what you will do is you will print on the console saying that file, this particular file dest is already exists, and you will return. So from here it will return, it will not proceed with the further adding the file. Let us say if this condition is false. Okay, if this condition is false, nothing will happen because there is no else, it will come to the this line. So if the condition is false, means that destination file does not exist, then it will create a new file. So you are creating a out object, which is a fs data output stream, and file system dot create, you have the path. Okay, and what is the path object? You have created the path object using the dest. Okay, you can see using the dest. Dest is the complete path of the output file. Then you are creating a input stream object, that is in is equal to new buffered input stream. Then you are passing new file input stream and new file source. Okay, new file, and this is the source is the nothing but whatever the source that has been passed, that is the source file name. And you are creating a new byte, this is the array. So by array of 1024, that is you are creating as a object. Then number num bytes is equal to 0, while num bytes is equal to in dot read b. Now you can the in is the input stream, so in is the input stream, and read how many bytes, it will read the number of bytes, 1024 bytes it will read into the b, that is the byte object. If it is greater than 0, means it has there is something available in uh, the input stream, that is the input file. So it will write out dot write. What is the out you can see, that is the fs data output stream created out of the destination file, that is the path. Out dot write b, whatever you are reading, that information is there, 0 comma number of bytes, how many bytes are there will be present in this. So it will read those many, already it has read, it is going to write into the output file. So this will continue as long as there is a data inside the source file. Once it is completely done with reading the file, then this condition will be false. It will come out of this, and then we will close the input stream, and we will close the output stream, and we will close the file system, because now the operation of copying the file from the source to the destination is complete. So this is how we can create a new file. Similarly, you can see here public void read file. This is the code for reading the file. You have one function for writing the file, one function for reading the file, and the function name is read file. And when you are reading, you will be reading it from one particular file. So you are passing that file name as a argument, and this function also throws IO exception. If there are any IO exception, this particular function will not handle it. It will just throw it. You are creating the configuration object, and to that configuration you are adding the resource. What resource you are adding? core-site.xml. You are passing it to the path. So that new path object will be passed as a argument, and that will be added to the conference object. And you are creating a file system object, file system dot get, by passing the conference object. Then you have a new path object. You are creating the new path object using the file that is passed to the whichever the file we has to be read. That file is passed as a argument. Using that argument, path object is created. Now first thing is, we have to check whether that file is existing or not. If it is existing, then only we can read it, otherwise we cannot read it. So the condition here, file system exist and path. So path is nothing but this, which we have got as the argument. So it will check. If it is present, it will give it as a true. When it is file exists, then this particular command will not means if it exists, this will return true, and we are using the not. True becomes false, so it will not go inside there. Suppose this file exists gives false. False means what? The file does not exist, and we are doing the not on top of that, so it will become true. When it is true, then we will print on the console saying that the file name of the file does not exist, and we will return. If it is present, it will come to the next instruction. Here we are creating the fs data input stream, that is in file system dot open. We are passing the path object. Then file name, string file name is equal to file dot substring, similar to what we did in the add file. We are getting the actual name of the file. Here we are just getting the name of the file. Okay, here we are creating a output stream using buffered output stream, and we are passing what we are passing here is a new file output stream, and to that we are passing a new file and the file name. Whatever the file name we have extracted, that has been passed. We have a array of byte here, and it is of the size 1024. 1024, and we have a one variable just to track whether the complete reading is done or not. And this step, it will starts reading the input stream, and it will start writing into the this particular output stream. And once the it is completed with reading the input stream, then it will come out of this loop. Then we close all the resources, input stream, output stream, and the file system. Similarly, we have the delete file. Okay, delete file. File name is passed. Okay, we are creating the configuration object, adding the resources similar to what we did in the other functions, and creating the file system object, creating the path object, and we are checking whether that file exists or not. Okay, if this file does not exist, then we will enter this, that is the this condition will become true. If condition will become true, then we print file, the name of the file does not exist, and return. So if file is not present, there is no operation of deleting. If this condition is false, it will come here, file system dot delete. We have file system dot delete method, and we pass the object of that input file. So new path of the file, this is the string, and comma true. So this will delete it from the file system, and file system dot close. So this is how we perform the delete operation. Then next one is make directory. In make directory, public void make dir, that is the name of the function, and we are passing the directory name here, and throws IO exception. Here also we are creating a configuration object, adding the resource, creating a file system using that configuration object, creating a path object using the directory name. You can see using the directory name. First you will check whether that particular directory exists or not. If it exists, okay, then you will say this, if this condition is true, then you will say dir, that is directory name of the directory already exists, okay, and you will return, you will not create a the same directory. Suppose if that directory does not exist, this condition would be false. If this condition is false, then it will come to the next line, file system dot mkdirs, that is the method, and you will create the particular directory, whatever the name that has been passed, you will create that. You will close the file system dot close. Now this is the main method. How you will enter, how you will call each of these methods, whether you want to add, whether you want to delete, whether you want to make a directory, that is done using the main method. And as we know, the signature of the main method is public static void. So it is a static method. Main it arguments, this also throws IO exception if args dot length less than 1. So number of arguments are less than 1, then you will give the usage, how this particular application or the Java application should be used is, you will say HDFS client, you will have either add HDFS client space one of these three, one of these four, add string or read or delete or make directory, and then these are optional. It depends on either I have one or two. This will give the local path and this will give the HDFS path. Okay, so depending upon each of the functions, either I will need both the parameters or just one parameter. Then system dot exit, so it will end the function if the number of arguments are less than 1. If it is not, then it will come here, it will create a client object. Okay, client object is what? HDFS client, the same Java program what we have written. This HDFS client is a name of this file, that is the public class that we have. We will create an object, and if args 0 means the first argument, okay, the first argument is with the index 0 dot equals add, whether the text that you are given is add. If it is true, it will come inside, because for writing the file we need two locations. It will come here. If args dot length is less than 3, again you will provide the usage, because we need three parameters, add, then source file and the destination file. If it is not, you will say usage is HDFS client add local path followed by HDFS path. Both the paths should be there, and you will exit. Let us say it is not less than 3, then it will come here, client dot add file. We are calling the add file. We are passing the args1 which has the local path and args2 which has the HDFS path. So this particular add file function will make sure that local file is copied onto the HDFS. Now If this condition is false, args at 0 index dot equals add. This is not add, this condition is false. It will come here, it will check whether it is a read, and it will check if it is true, it will come inside, it will check whether arguments are less than 2, then it will say usage SDFS client read SDFS path, at least it needs this path. Okay, then it will exit. If they have given the correct parameters, correct arguments, it will come here, it will call the client dot read file and it will pass the HDFS path. Next, if that condition is false, means if it is not read, then it will come, it will check whether it is delete. If it is true, it will come inside, it will check whether there are two arguments. Okay, if not, then it will print this usage SDFS clients delete and SDFS path, and it will exit. If they have given the correct arguments, then it will come here client dot, we call the delete file function, and we pass the args1. Okay, that is SDFS path. Suppose the given argument is not delete, we will check whether it is a make directory mkdir. So if it is true, it will come here inside, and it will check whether if the arguments are less than 2, it will give the usage SDFS client make directory and SDFS path. Okay, so this is the directory we want to create. If then it will exit. If the correct arguments are given, it will come here client dot mkdir, it will call the mkdir function that we have written, and it will pass the SDFS path. So it will create this particular directory, new directory. Suppose this argument is not equal to mkdir, it will come here else, then we will give the usage, because we are handling only add, read, delete and make directory. We will just tell the what is the usage, and we will exit system dot exit. Okay, then at the end of the each operation we have the done. That is how we will come to know the operation is completed or not. Now they have given an instruction how this particular file should be executed on the Linux system. For that, first you are going to create a directory. Now this particular file, Java file, you are going to create, the name of the Java file should be HDFS client. This is the name of the Java file, HDFS client.java, and you will create a directory mkdir hdfs client hyphen classes. Okay, next compile the program using a Hadoop class path. So we are going to use the Hadoop class to ensure all class paths are available. You will say Java C, that is a Java compiler, then hyphen cp, then this is the Hadoop class path. So cp is class path, we are going to give the Hadoop class path minus d hdfs client hyphen classes, then hdfs client dot java, that is your source code. Whatever the program you just saw, you are written that into this particular file. This is how you are going to compile. If there are no errors, it will successfully compile. Then you will create the jar file, that is Java archive file. How to create the Java archive file? Jar jar space hyphen cvfe space hdfs client dot jar, that is the name of the jar you want to give, and org forward slash my org dot hdfs client, then hyphen capital C hdfs client hyphen classes forward slash. So this is where you have all the class files, compiled class files. The program can be checked to see the different available options. So how to run the program? Here you have Hadoop space jar dot forward slash hdfs client dot jar. So when you run this particular command, it will show, because you are not passing any parameter, so it will show you the usage. The usage is hdfs client add or read or delete or make directory, then These are the optional parameters. So some need 2 parameters, some need 1 parameter. Okay, this is the example for the a copy. Okay, Hadoop space jar uh, dot forward slash. Dot means it is a current directory, forward slash it is HDFS client dot jar. Then you are using the text add, and you are giving this is the local path. Okay, this is the local file dot forward slash nodes dot txt, means in the current directory we have nodes dot txt, and this is the location on the hdfs forward slash user forward slash hdfs. So once you issue this command, what happens is the nodes file will get copied onto the hdfs file system. So once after successful completion of this command, you can check hdfs dfs minus ls notes.txt. So it will show this is from the hdfs file system. It has been copied to the hdfs file system. Similarly, other commands you can execute. How to execute other commands? For example, you will say hadoop space jar dot forward slash name of the jar file. Then let us say delete. Okay, in case of a delete, you will give only the hdfs path. You will need only one path. You will give the name of the file. For example, if you want to delete this particular file, you will give next argument as forward slash user forward slash hdfs forward slash notes dot txt. This that is the Java example. We have one more C application example. This is a complete C program, has not been given in the textbook, but there are links where we can get the complete source code of the C program. So this is the C program. Whatever the implementation we just saw for the Java application, similar thing has been done using the C programming. So they have included the required header files stdio.h, stdlib.h, string.h. Then you can see hdfs.h. This hdfs header file is included. Then we have the main method, two arguments that has been passed to the main method. Okay, so here we have the hdfs file system fs, hdfs connect, default. So the C implementation is given for the same thing. So you can just go through this particular source code. Maybe you can check the link that is given where the complete source code is available for the C programming. Okay, this is the how we can execute using the C programming. All those information is given. Since Java, everybody is comfortable with the Java. If you understand Java implementation of the HDFS application, that is good. Like if you understand that, that can be used. And on the similar lines, the C implementation has been done using the appropriate C libraries. Next is running the example programs and benchmarks. Okay, there are certain example programs that have been given, and how to run those example programs we can that is what is covered in this particular section. So those example programs, first you have to search for the example programs where they are located in your particular implementation, right? In your particular version. For every version, the location of the uh, examples, MapReduce examples is in a different location. For that, you have to do a search. Okay? Running MapReduce examples. All Hadoop releases come with a MapReduce example applications. Running the existing MapReduce examples is a simple process once the example files are located. So how to locate the example files? I told you, you can use this find command. Okay, using the find command, this is how the command is. The find, it will find the whatever the key you give, whatever needs to be searched in the file system, it will search it. That is the find. then you will give the location where to search. We have given as the forward slash. That means we want to look into the a complete file system. So this is the forward slash is nothing but it is a root. It is a root directory. So we want to search the complete file system, and what we want to search, that you will specify hyphen name. Then inside the two double quotes you will give the key that needs to be searched. Here what I am giving is Hadoop hyphen MapReduce hyphen examples, then asterisk. So after examples there can be anything, so I don't really care. Then dot jar at the end, it should be dot jar, then hyphen print. So this is what I'm going to search. The example that is covered in the book, that version is 2.6.0. So in this particular version, all the Hadoop MapReduce examples are in this particular location, OPT Hadoop hyphen 2.6.0 forward slash share forward slash Hadoop forward slash MapReduce. So for other version, as I said, some locations you can look out is for example forward slash user forward slash lib forward slash Hadoop hyphen MapReduce. This is the one location. If your installation has this particular folder structure, you can look there directly. If you are for any reason, if you are not able to find any of these location, it's not under opt, it is not underscore user, then issue the find command. The find command will search what locations the particular file is present. In my example I showed you, this is where we found. That is in the text. In my particular version, okay, this is where I found out. So I issued the command in SSH session. This is the command that I issued. After issuing this command, it found out two locations, two jar files. One is under location user HDP. Then this is the version of the file. Then Hadoop MapReduce. Then I have one jar file, Hadoop MapReduce examples.jar, and second one is Hadoop MapReduce hyphen examples with complete version name. Two jar files I could able to find in these two locations. These two locations are very important, so that we are creating a variable, session variable Hadoop underscore examples. We will assign the path, and there are other options as well other than assigning this variable. We will look into that in the next class.